Alright, so I can't resist. I have to do one more video where I'm going to play a little bit of Brian Swim, and then I won't let it play the whole time. I'll stop it. But let's see what he has to say. Does he have anything to say?
For Teilhard was in on the discovery of anthropogenesis. He's in on the discovery of the actual becoming of the human. He was part of the actual research, and in that process, he was part of what destroyed biblical cosmology. Whitehead was so the Teilhard's focus was paleontology, geology, and after that biology. That's where he lived. Whitehead's focus was mathematics and physics. And what he was in on, in a big way, was the discovery that mathematics and logic are incomplete. I mentioned this before in class, but just to go back over it quickly. Incomplete, technical word. This is what, Whitehead and Russell devoted their early creative years to demonstrating the truth of the fundamental assumption of scientific materialism, namely, the universe is mechanical. And they were just, it was like everybody assumed that was the case. It's mechanical. In other words, it proceeds by Newton's equations. So they simply launched forth on this amazing theoretical explication of how all of the truths of mathematics could be generated basically by computers. And then Kurt Gödel comes along, does this massive work, writes a short little paper, and demonstrates that not only are they wrong in their assumptions, no matter who attempts to do this, they will always be wrong. And people read his paper and realize it's over. It's like, and then so that there's one way to describe it, Morris Klein, the way he summarized it, would say that was the moment we lost certainty in science, because even if physics might have a difficult time understanding the exact nature of matter because of Heisenberg's uncertainty principle, at least we have our mathematics. At least we have that. That's real, true knowledge. But that was destroyed. So Whitehead, so the Whitehead's background was to participate in the development of a cosmology that destroyed the modern cosmology. Teilhard destroyed the biblical cosmology. Whitehead destroyed the modern cosmology. They both did more than that. I'm just trying to give you a little bit of difference. Teilhard destroyed this notion of the universe as static. So he said that evolutionary time is sacred. That's not in the Bible. So that, let's get over it. And so likewise, Whitehead, in a similar way, said mechanistic thinking is limited. Move on.
So Whitehead actually says in this book, Science in the Modern World, that the doctrine of materialism is impossible in an evolutionary cosmos. So in a reality which is in a perpetual state of becoming, the notion of atoms as these fixed particles that never change, just get rearranged, that's not coherent, because atoms themselves must have been generated through some process and must still be evolving in that same process, and who knows what form they'll take next. It's not that there aren't atoms, it's just that the atoms are alive. They transform over time. So evolution, when we thoroughly apply it to not only the biological world, but to the physical world and to the human world of conscious experience, we find that, well, not only is materialism not true, it's a complete misapprehension of what was positively given to us in our own experience. It's complete ignorance of what is actually before us. I mean, think about it. Let's talk about the world out there. The air in this room right now. It's what, 21% oxygen, 70% nitrogen, carbon dioxide. I mean, I don't know the exact percentages, but just a bunch of air. But I breathe it, and it feels good to breathe, doesn't it? You kind of, it's almost like eating, you're taking something into your body and it's nourishing you. So you derive your life, your experience, your consciousness from this air around you, which is supposedly just this dead stuff. Somehow you transform it into life. That's alchemy if I've ever seen it. It's quite a trick that we've pulled off, us organisms. But see, we don't really have to assume that. Molecules are not dead. They participate in life. They weren't as alive before life emerged with their help, but they are life now. Life, my body, is a series of molecules participating in this organized unfolding because they want to, because it seemed valuable at the time, and hopefully will continue to seem valuable for a little bit more time. So, we're, in a sense, we're in a precarious situation, a relationship between a community of beings which could break apart at any moment, and that eventually will perish. But it's a perishing which will become the impetus for the next life. Even if we, as biological creatures, don't pass on our genetic material and give birth to another human child, we're still passing along a great deal of actuality into the future. So we're, sex is everything. We're constantly reproducing ourselves, whether it's just the molecules that compose my body reproducing themselves in the next instant in order to maintain the form of my body. That is a form of reproduction. It's the passing along or the inheritance of a memory. So everything is sex, and so also, if everything is sex, everything is this erotic process. It's eros pulling us because we desire. So it's not just pulling; it's we lift ourselves toward it. Or it's a synchronicity of the pushing and the pulling. They occur together. Breathing is the simplest example of the structure of reality. But it's not a static structure, it's a process, and it's a process which exists in eternity, which means it begins and it ends, in contrast to eternity, which doesn't. So when you hold your breath, and I can't do it while I'm talking, I cannot inhale, but that is living on the edge. See, it's not that death isn't present in every moment. It is. It's just that we're more alive now than we are dead, but we'll make up for it later.